revealed. How I transformed my daughter-in-law's hurtful words into an incredible Christmas moment. Bob sat on his worn leather recliner, gazing at the twinkling lights on the Christmas tree. The scent of pine filled his modest home, and the snow outside blanketed the streets of his small Midwestern town. Here life was simple, but it was good. Every year, he decorated with handmade ornaments, reminders of his sons' childhoods. This year, however, a shadow loomed over the festivities. Mia, his daughter-in-law, struggled to feel at home in this community so steeped in tradition. Her mention of city glamour at Christmas dinner stung like an icy wind, reverberating through the cozy atmosphere and leaving Bob feeling like an outsider amidst his own family. "Why can't we be more like them?" Mia had said, her words flickering like the fireplace flames. "Everything here just feels outdated." Bob felt that heat rise to his cheeks. The laughter and gratitude shared moments before evaporated in an instant. Did she not see the beauty in the simplicity he cherished? As Christmas neared, Bob grappled with resentment. No man wants to feel unappreciated, especially after pouring his heart into building a family through hard work and sacrifice. The rift between him and Mia grew, that chasm filled with unspoken words and misunderstandings. How could he mend the breach? Bob found himself returning to an old story, one he kept buried deep. The memory of his return from Vietnam, where survival was as much about making ends meet in a struggling town as it was about the war, clawed its way back to the surface. Nights spent in war-torn jungles echoed the struggles he faced in peacetime, fighting to provide for his boys. He had only ever wanted to create a life filled with love and tradition. Maybe this vulnerable part of his past was what it took to connect with Mia. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Bob picked the right moment. A quiet moment on Christmas Eve around the fireplace. He shared a shaky breath, eyes downcast before finally saying, "Mia, I want you to understand why this simple life holds so much value to me." He opened up about the struggles of returning home, gathering every piece of himself to rebuild a family after the war's chaos. The pain was palpable, and he carefully laid bare the love that came before everything, the fight to provide for his two boys when the world felt heavy on his shoulders. But instead of drawing them closer, the divide widened. Mia's silence was deafening, a cold wind that caused Bob's heart to hang heavy. Just as he felt lost, she finally spoke. With a trembling voice, she shared her battles, the loneliness of feeling different in this tight-knit town, her longing to belong somewhere that felt like home. Together they stood at the precipice of understanding, emotions swirling around them, begging to break free. But would their moment of vulnerability bring healing or leave an insurmountable rift? The snow continued its silent fall, each flake a whisper urging reconciliation. Bob's heart raced. He was at the edge of something profound, teetering on the brink of understanding and acceptance. Would this Christmas bring the love and connection they all so desperately needed? Or would the past keep them apart? The room was filled with the soft glow of the fire, shadows dancing along the walls as the silence grew heavier. Bob could feel the weight of his words hanging in the air. He glanced at Mia, whose eyes brimmed with unshed tears. She seemed to be searching for the right words, her lips parting and closing like a fish out of water. "I didn't mean to hurt you, Bob," she finally whispered, her voice steadying. "It's just, every time I come here I feel like almost an outsider." There was a vulnerability in her tone, a rawness that made Bob's heart ache. "I want to be part of this family, but I don't know how." Bob took a deep breath, the warmth of the fire contrasting the chill that swept through him. He understood now, in a way he hadn't before, that their struggles paralleled each other. It wasn't just about traditions, it was about belonging. Each holiday spent at his home was a reminder to Mia of the life she felt separated from, while Bob clung to the familiarity of everything that had shaped him. "Belonging is hard for everyone," he said gently. "You're not alone in this. I fought to find my place after the war, and I know what it feels like to be out of your depth." Mia's eyes widened, surprise mingling with empathy. Bob felt a spark of connection ignite, the chasm narrowing between them. Perhaps, he thought, this was the Christmas miracle they needed, an understanding stripped bare, unguarded and true. What was it like for you? She ventured, curiosity nudging her forward. Bob shifted slightly, his gaze drifting to the flickering flames as memories resurfaced. When I came home, everything felt different. I wasn't the same person. I looked at the world through a different lens. He paused, grappling with the feelings that still lingered. But I learned to find joy in the small things, the smell of fresh-cut grass, the laughter of my boys playing in the yard. It kept me grounded. Motioning to the decorations around the room, Bob continued, these ornaments, each one has a story. They remind me of our family's journey, of love through challenges. Just like your stories, they tell a truth. Mia wiped a tear that escaped down her cheek and nodded slowly. I need to find my stories here, she murmured. Traditions shouldn't feel like chains. They should weave us together. Bob couldn't help but smile at her words. Perhaps this was the hope-filled moment they both needed, a new shared path to navigate. The air shifted, a quiet understanding blooming. As they sat together, a renewed warmth filled the room. Bob reached for her hand, squeezing it gently, as if sealing a pact to face the future together. Let us work on this, Mia. You're my daughter-in-law, and I want you to feel at home here. Let us create our own memories. The outside world faded into the background, the steady snowfall a gentle reminder of the transformative power of love and acceptance. There was still a lot to unpack, but for the first time in a long time Bob felt a flicker of hope. But just as a sense of promise enveloped them, the front door creaked open. The cheerful voices of Bob's sons filled the living room, vibrating with holiday energy. Hey, we're back. We brought gifts. Dom's exuberance cut through the moment like a surprise flash of light. A fresh wave of anxiety washed over Mia. Would the chaos ruin what they had begun? Would the memories they wanted to build fade in the background of festive celebrations? As the laughter and excitement erupted in the room, Bob exchanged a look with Mia. A new journey awaited them, one filled with gifts not only under the tree but within their hearts. Could they navigate the bustling rhythm of family life and forge connections that transcended tradition? The pages of their story were still unwritten, and both stood ready to dive in. But would they rise together, or fall apart amidst the whirlwind? The air buzzed with excitement as Dom and Jake burst through the front door, arms loaded with colorful boxes, their faces glowing with the thrill of the season. The warmth of the fire suddenly felt like a blanket engulfing them both, wrapping around the burgeoning connection that had just been established. Mia took a deep breath, her heart racing. The laughter and shouting scratched at the new peace she and Bob had just forged. She glanced at Bob, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. Would everything they just shared be lost in the chaos? Mom, you won't believe what we got. Dom shouted, hurriedly making his way to the tree, his attention already consumed by the bright lights and ornaments. Jake followed, laughing as he tossed a small box to Dom, who caught it with feigned seriousness. Bob cleared his throat, attempting to sound authoritative amid the mayhem. Boys, before you start opening everything, let us take a moment, okay? He motioned toward Mia, a silent cue urging her to join him. Mia took a tentative step forward, heart pounding in her chest. She stood beside Bob and together, they looked down at their sons, their chatter fading slightly as curiosity took hold. What is it, Dad? Jake asked, momentarily pausing from his excited fidgeting. Bob smiled, uncertainty giving way to familiarity. Well, we have a guest here with us tonight. Someone who wants to be part of this family, someone who wants to create new memories. He turned to Mia. I know you felt out of place, but I want to show you how much we can all be a part of this together. Mia's cheeks flushed a mix of gratitude and fear. She was nervous, yet a part of her felt inspired. I'd really like to make new traditions with you all, she said, her voice gaining strength. The holidays, the laughter, the joy, the stories, let us weave them into something that brings us all closer. Maybe we start that tonight? There was a moment of silence, the boys holding their breath as they processed her words. Then slowly a grin spread across Dom's face. That sounds awesome, he exclaimed, his enthusiasm flooding the room. Yeah, can we do our gift opening after that? Jake added, bouncing on his heels. Absolutely, but first Bob began, his heart swelling at the sight of his family, in that beautiful chaotic moment. He rummaged through the pile of gifts and pulled out a small, neatly wrapped box that had been tucked away for this moment. "I'd like to share something special with you, Mia." With the room still, Mia felt the warmth of acceptance embracing her. Bob handed her the small gift, its delicate wrapping shimmering. She hesitated for just a second before tearing it open, revealing a simple silver ornament shaped like a tree. "It's a family tree," Bob explained, his voice soft yet steady. "I thought you could add your own memories to it this year. Something to remind you that you're part of our family, now and always." Tears prickled at the corners of Mia's eyes as she studied the ornament. It symbolized everything she craved: a fresh start, a blending of past and present, and an invitation to belong. "It's beautiful, Bob," she whispered, overwhelmed by his thoughtfulness. "Would you like to hang it on the tree?" he asked gently, his eyes hopeful. Mia nodded, and as she stepped closer to the glimmering fur, she felt the weight of the past lifting just a little. She hung the ornament among the others, its silver gleaming brightly. The boys cheered and Bob laughed, the sound echoing in the cozy room. For the first time in the flurry of chaos, Mia felt a sense of joy blooming within her, a sense of home igniting. Yet, as they celebrated, another sound cut through the joyful murmurs: the low rumble of thunder in the distance. The snow began to swirl more fiercely outside, deepening the darkness creeping against the windows. "Oh, looks like it might be a long night," Jake said lightly, eyes wide with excitement. Mia turned back to Bob, anxiety creeping in. Could the storm and the chaos tear apart what they'd begun to build? Or would they rise together, stronger than ever against any storm? The night promised unexpected challenges, but it also had the potential for transformation. With uncertainty at the edge, Mia stood ready to embrace whatever came next, her heart still racing from the warmth of connection. What lay ahead in that snowfall-laden night? Would they weather the storm together? Or would the chaos overwhelm the fragile threads of hope they had woven? The wind howled like a discontented spirit, contrasting sharply with the warmth of the fire's glow. Mia took a step back from the tree, her heart pounding with the weight of collected joy and fear. The boys were blissfully unaware, their laughter and shouts swirling together in a joyful crescendo that echoed through the house. "Mom, can we start?" Jake tugged at her sleeve, his face alight with anticipatory glee. "Just a moment, sweetheart," Mia replied, her voice soft but steady. She needed to breathe, to think, and to shove aside the tightness in her chest that threatened her newfound delight. Bob stood beside her, a reassuring presence. His gaze drifted from the boys to Mia, concern shadowing his features for just a split second. "They're excited, aren't they?" he said, his voice low. Mia managed a smile. "It's wonderful, actually. Feels right." Thunder grumbled again, further outside, as if trying to join the festivities, but its ominous drum was a stark contrast to the positive energy cloaked in the warm room. "Let us start with some stories first," Bob suggested, glancing toward the decorations. "We can lighten the mood, keep that storm outside at bay." "Like what?" Dom asked, sliding closer, his eyes sparkling with curiosity. Mia blinked, momentarily thrown by the request. What stories could she share? The memories of her own family felt scattered, but then she remembered the tales passed down, how they had always made holidays feel alive. "Well, one of my favorites is about the time my cousin tried to bake cookies and burned them all. Instead of being upset, we made a cookie monster out of the charred remains. It was messy but so much fun." The boys burst into laughter, and Mia felt warmth spread through her, pushing back the coldness of worry. "See, we could do that," Jake shouted excitedly. "Next Christmas is Cookie Monster time," Dom added with a grin, already imagining the chaos. Mia's heart swelled. She was weaving herself into their fabric, one thread at a time. "And I can teach you how to bake properly to avoid cookie disasters," she said, smiling wider now. They settled down together, sharing stories, each tale bringing them closer. Mia shared her childhood memories, sprinkled with laughter and a few embarrassing moments that had the boys rolling on the floor. As the clock ticked and the snow beat against the windows, their laughter created a bubble, shielding them from the tempest outside. Yet, in the back of her mind, Mia could still hear the thunder, a reminder that trouble was brewing just beyond the warmth. She was eager to hold on to this moment, but could it last? Just then, a loud crack of thunder shook the house, and the lights flickered. For an instant, darkness swallowed them, and the laughter turned into a chorus of shocked gasps. "Is the power out?" Dom whispered, eyes wide, the reality of the storm sinking in. Bob moved quickly, filling the space with calm energy. It's okay. I've got flashlights. He rushed toward a closet, pulling out a lantern and setting it on the coffee table. Mia looked at the boys, their expressions mixing fear with excitement. Was it the thrill of the storm that captured them? Or was it the uncertainty of the moment? Let us not let the storm ruin our evening, Mia said, raising her voice against the rumble. Flashlights out. Let us make shadow puppets. As Bob turned the lantern on, the flickering light danced around the room, creating a warm glow. Mia's heart raced again, but this time it wasn't from anxiety. It was excitement. They gathered around, flashlight beams cutting through the thickening darkness. The boys laughed and tried to mimic different animals with their hands. Mia joined in, sharing tales of her silly adventures, all the while wondering how such a chaotic night could unite them further. But in the midst of their laughter, a memory clawed at the edges of her mind, a hurtful comment that seemed to resurface in the shadows of the room. Could they endure the truth of who she was, intertwined with who she was trying to become? As the night carried on, so did the storm, and with it, the tension hung like mist in the air. What other revelations would emerge when the power came back? Would the hidden fears of her past slip through the cracks and disrupt their fragile unity? Or could they find a way to turn even that chaos into something beautiful? The lantern-esque glow wavered, shadows dancing on the walls like whispering spirits. Mia looked at the boys, their excited faces lit almost eerily by the flickering light. Jake had turned into a bat, wings splayed wide, while Dom tried to hold onto his shape, a goofy dinosaur with an exaggerated roar. The energy pulsed through the room, but in Mia's chest, a different energy began to swirl, one that pulled her back into darkness, reminding her of the words that haunted her. Dino or dragon? What do you think, Mom? Dom asked, pulling her into the moment. Oh, definitely a dragon. Dragons can fly and breathe fire, Mia replied, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. The laughter faded for a heartbeat as the boys waited for her, their wide eyes expecting more magic. But her mind began to drift. Those words, "You'll never be good enough." They echoed in the caverns of her memory, a cruel whisper that mingled with the comforting scene before her. Hey, let us play a game, Jake shouted suddenly, breaking her reverie. How about a treasure hunt? We can hide something and you guys can find it with the flashlights. Mia blinked at the spontaneity. That's a fantastic idea, she said, her heart lightening for just a moment. What should we hide? Bob chimed in, his voice a calm pillar amidst the chaos. How about those gingerbread cookies I made earlier? The ones I didn't burn? Yeah. The boys cheered, their spirits lifting and filling the room with energy once more. With purpose, they quickly set to work. While Bob prepared the cookies, Mia hid behind the couch, her heart racing with a cocktail of excitement and lingering doubt. Could this night really turn into something special? Even with the aching shadows of her past? Ready or not? Jake yelled as they switched off the lanterns, leaving just beams of light to guide them through the hunt. The boys fumbled about, their giggles bubbling up like soda fizz. But as the chaos unfurled, another sound broke through, an echo of thunder, low and threatening, that seemed to hang in the air longer than it should have. That familiar tightness in Mia's chest returned, but something changed. It wasn't just fear anymore. It was determination, the kind that had been lying dormant, begging to rise. Hey, you guys are doing great, she called out, her voice brimming with newfound purpose. Remember to search high and low. The treasure might be hidden under something unexpected. Mia's own words sparked something within her. Unexpected. A thought reverberated through her mind. What if she chose to be the unexpected joy in her family's narrative? The boys finally located the cookies, squeals of triumph erupting as they inspected their prize. The sweetness of the moment finally broke through her defenses. Let us decorate them, Mia suggested, her smile genuine now. They gathered around the table, laughter spilling as they smeared icing and sprinkled toppings with reckless abandon. Mia watched the boys, each nibble of cookie accompanied by their joyous chatter. They were creating memories strewn together by laughter, light, and a hint of icing on their noses. Just as Mia lifted her cookie for a bite, the lights flickered back on, bathing them in a bright glow. The room flooded with familiar warmth, but instead of feeling the strain of the past, she felt alive with possibility. Amidst the laughter floating in the air, The tension she had carried seemed to lighten. Then she felt an unexpected wave of hope. But just as she thought she could finally enjoy this moment, the door creaked. A gust of wind swept through, bringing with it an unsettling chill, and the mood shifted. Bob turned towards the door, face suddenly serious. What was that? Everyone went quiet, glances darting toward the sound, hearts pounding harder. Whatever lingered outside in that storm felt a world away. Yet something far more immediate threatened the warmth of their gathering. Could this fragile joy hold against whatever dark currents swirled outside? Would the shadows from her past threaten to reclaim the bright light of the evening? The wind howled as if warning them. Mia's heart raced. In that moment, shadows seemed to swell around her. She could feel the weight of her past pressing in, as if it were clawing its way back into her consciousness. Should I check? Bob asked, his voice steady but laced with unease. Don't open it. Jake cried, eyes wide. What if it's a ghost? Mia couldn't help but smile at his fear, but it was chased away by her own dread. She wanted to protect them from whatever uncertainty lurked outside. Taking a deep breath, she stood. Let me go. I'll handle it. Are you sure? Dom asked, his small voice filled with concern. Yes. We'll be okay, she assured, her own voice steadier than she felt. She walked toward the door, each step echoing like thunder in her mind. The decorations around her felt more vibrant than they had moments ago, glimmering under the lights as if they were cheering her on. As she reached the door and grasped the handle, a sharp crack of thunder rent the air. It rattled her bones, but as she opened the door a crack, the wind screamed in and swept through the room like an angry spirit. Mia! Bob called. She hesitated, suddenly aware of a wide-eyed Jake clutching Dom's arm. But her curiosity got the better of her. Gritting her teeth, she swung the door open wider, her breath catching as she stepped outside into the stormy night. Dark clouds rolled across the sky, illuminated by flashes of lightning. The trees swayed like tortured giants. But in the heart of that chaos, Mia spotted something bright and flickering against the monstrous backdrop, a small figure, wrapped in shadows but undeniably there. Mia! It called, muffled by the howling wind. Mia! This time the voice was clearer. It sent a jolt through her. It was Sarah, her sister-in-law. Confusion flooded her. Why would Sarah come here during a storm? Mia! Please! Sarah's voice, strained with urgency, pulled her closer. Before she realized it, Mia was moving toward the voice. Each step was heavy, yet her determination surged. The painful memories of their last encounter flashed before her, words exchanged in anger and misunderstanding. But as she pushed those memories aside, hope flickered anew in her chest. What did she want? To fight? Or to heal? Mia, it's urgent, Sarah repeated, fear lacing her every word. The tension in Mia's chest began to unravel. What is it? I need to talk, Sarah said, her eyes reflecting the chaos around them. It can't wait. Mia's heart raced. What could be so important in this storm? But looking back at the warm glow of the house, she felt a stirring in her heart. She glanced over her shoulder to see the boys peering through the window, concern etched on their faces, and her resolve strengthened. Come inside, Mia said, stepping back, the rain beating against her like 1,000 tiny hammers. As they retreated into the warmth of the house, the boys rushed to greet Sarah, curiosity dancing on their faces. Mia felt the pulsing energy in the room shift. Unseen tensions blended with anticipation, and she realized this could be a moment of transformation for all of them. With each passing second, Mia sensed that they stood on the brink of something profound. But could they face the storm that shadowed their laughter? Could words lead to the healing they all needed? The door closed behind them, sealing out the raging storm. But inside, a different storm was brewing, one filled with hope, frustration, and a chance for connection. Mia, Sarah began, her voice trembling. It came because, but just as she opened up the potential for revelation, another crack of thunder echoed outside, nearly drowning her out. Would this storm bring new understanding? Or would it unravel them all? Sarah's voice caught in her throat as the thunder rumbled again, shaking the windows. She looked at Mia, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and desperation. Mia could feel the weight of unspoken words heavy in the air. Mia, please, Sarah urged, stepping closer. It's about Jake. Mia's heart dropped. Is he okay? The boys had gathered near the glowing fireplace, their curiosity spilling over as they shot worried glances back and forth. Yeah, he's fine, but something happened. Sarah paused, taking a deep breath. He's been hiding things. Mistakes he's made. Things he's scared to tell you. And things you need to know. Mia felt a rush of emotions: fear, anger, love, all tangled together like the storm outside. What do you mean? Sarah lowered her voice, her eyes darting back to the boys. I can't say much in front of them, but he's been struggling. Really struggling. It's tearing him apart. Mia caught her breath, suddenly feeling like the walls were closing in. The weight of the moment anchored her. What do? We need to confront this together, Sarah said, her voice steadier now. We might be more connected than we think. This might actually help. Connected how? Mia pressed, shifting her gaze toward the flickering fire. The heat offered little comfort as she wrestled with her thoughts. Because Jake looks up to you, he needs your support more than anyone else right now, Sarah said, stepping even closer, her voice softening. And I think this could help you find some peace too. Mia felt something tug at her heart. Could this really be the turning point they needed? But as warm emotions built inside her, doubt crept in. Would they really be able to face what was lurking in the shadows? The boys' laughter echoed from the other room, a stark contrast to the heavy conversation. Their innocence was a sharp reminder of what was at stake. Okay, Mia said slowly, her resolve strengthening. Let us talk to him. Together. Just then the wind howled louder outside, intensifying the tension. Sarah nodded, hope shining through her fear. They moved toward the boys, but the atmosphere shifted again as the power flickered and then went out entirely, plunging the house into darkness. A collective gasp filled the room, and then silence enveloped them, broken only by the rain pounding against the roof. In that moment, fear gripped Mia once more. Are we safe? She whispered. Mia. Jake called from the other room, panic in his voice. What is happening? Are we okay? Mia exchanged a worried glance with Sarah. We're fine, she shouted back, though uncertainty gnawed at her gut. Just a power outage. Stay where you are. Shadows danced in the dark, whispers of the storm lurking just outside. Within that moment of confusion, she felt as if they were suspended in time, teetering on the brink of something monumental. Jake, she called, her heart pounding. Can you come here? As footsteps approached, Mia took a deep breath, gathering her strength. What would she say? How do you break through the barriers built by silence and fear? Everything will be okay, we just need to talk, she added, holding on to the belief that this night could change everything. As Jake entered the room, illuminating a small circle with a flashlight, Mia's eyes searched his face, desperate for understanding. What moment were they stepping into? Mia knew the storm outside was nothing compared to the tempest they had to face together. But would they brave it? Or would the darkness consume them all? Mia swallowed hard as Jake stepped into the dim light. The beam from the flashlight highlighted the worry etched on his face. His usual confidence seemed to evaporate in the oppressive darkness. Hey, he said, his voice softer than usual. What's going on? Mia's heart raced. We need to talk, Jake. About some things, she said, her thoughts feeling jumbled. Some things? His brow furrowed, and for a moment Mia saw a flicker of panic in his eyes. The shadows around them felt alive, crawling up the walls like specters waiting to take their toll. She took a deep breath, grounding herself. Yeah, you've been hiding stuff from me, and it's hurting you. Sarah said, it's tearing you apart. His gaze dropped, and she could feel the space between them expanding with unspoken fears. You shouldn't have talked to her, Mia. It's not about her, she interrupted, surprising herself. It's about us. And I want to help you. Jake's silence filled the room, heavy like the storm howling outside. Mia felt the urge to reach out, to close that distance. Yet her heart knew this was a conversation they both desperately needed. She locked eyes with him, determination flooding her. Why didn't you tell me, Jake? I want to be here for you. I love you, she said, her voice shaking slightly. The flicker of his flashlight danced nervously as he moved to sit beside her. You don't know everything, he whispered, the words almost lost above the rain's pounding. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm scared of what you might think. Jake, whatever it is, I can handle it, Mia pleaded, her voice firm. That's what love is. We don't just get the good parts. We face everything together. He drew a shaky breath, his shirt rumpling where he gripped it tightly. Okay, just don't get mad. Mia's heart sank. Promise I won tea. If I tell you, you have to understand why it happened. Just talk, she coaxed gently, placing a hand over his as the warmth of skin met the coolness of fear. Jake hesitated, and in that moment, Mia could see how hard it was for him to let go of the burden. Okay, so, a few months back I messed up. I did something that felt wrong from the start. I thought it would solve some things, but it just created more. The confession hung in the air like a heavy storm cloud, ready to explode. Mia swallowed, her instincts telling her to reassure him. You're not alone in this, Jake. Whatever it is, we can fix it. Together. He hesitated, haunted eyes searching hers. I was with someone else. A sharp breath left her, each word resonating deep in her chest. The world around them faded, leaving only the raw ache of truth laid bare. What? She whispered, the air thick with disbelief. Just once, he added quickly, desperation creeping into his voice. It was a stupid mistake. I didn't mean anything by it, I thought I could push the pain away. I thought it would change things, but it only made it worse. I've been terrified to tell you because I knew how much it would hurt. Mia pulled her hand back, the sudden stillness amplifying the storm outside. She felt betrayal wash over her like the rain, cold and unyielding. The weight of the revelation pressed down hard, swirling emotions battling inside her. Hurt, anger, confusion, everything collided in a chaotic storm of thoughts. Why would you do that, Jake? After everything we've been through? I'm so sorry, Mia. He rushed, his voice thick with emotion. I was lost. I didn't know how to handle what was happening between us. I thought what? That lying was the answer? No. I thought if I distracted myself long enough, maybe it would go away. The flickering flashlight cast shadows of uncertainty on the walls, mirroring Mia's tumultuous feelings. But it didn't, did it? She murmured. No, it only made it worse, he whispered, desperation etched in every line of his face. They were standing on a precipice, both afraid to take a step forward. The storm roared outside, reflecting the chaos within. Can we fix this? Jake asked, his eyes pleading. Mia felt the weight of the world on her shoulders, teetering on the edge of something that could either pull them apart or draw them closer. What would she choose? Would she dare to trust him again? Or would this fracture break them entirely? In the storm's fury, Mia realized the question worth asking wasn't just about forgiveness, it was about what it meant to love amid the chaos. Her heart hammered in her chest as she fought to find the words. Did she have the strength to brave this storm together? Or was this the beginning of their end? Mia stood at the edge of their crumbling trust, her breath hitching with every fleeting heartbeat. The room felt small, the walls closing in as if to keep the truth trapped between them. Jake was still there, his face a simmering mix of guilt and desperation. She could see the tightness in his jaw, the way his legs fidgeted nervously, and it was all a reminder of the raw wound they now shared. Do you think we can get past this? He asked, his voice trembling as if the storm outside might swallow him whole. Mia wanted to scream, to rage at the unfairness of it all. But as she looked into his eyes, she saw a boy who had made a colossal mistake, a boy who had sought solace in the arms of someone else, thinking it would fill a void. Their love had always been grounded in honesty, and now they were both grappling with a betrayal that felt like a knife to her heart. I don't know, she finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. I really don't. The air thickened around them, filled with the scent of rain-soaked earth and the tension of unanswered questions. Mia, I know I messed up. I wish I could take it back. His sincerity cut deep, but the pain was tangible. It wrapped around her like a shroud, heavy and suffocating. Before she could respond, thunder rumbled outside, a loud crack that mirrored the tumult in her heart. They both jumped, the sudden sound breaking through the weight of their silence. For a moment, the world outside felt just as chaotic as the one they were trapped in. Look, he continued, taking a shaky breath. I know that betrayal is hard to forgive, but can't we at least try to talk about what happened? Maybe there's something we can learn from this learning. The word lingered in the air, almost laughable. How could they learn when their foundations were so shaken? Learning what, Jake? She spat, anger bubbling up again. That you can run away instead of fighting for what you have? His eyes mirrored regret. I didn't know how to fight, I was drowning in confusion. I thought I was protecting you from my struggles, but I was just pushing you away. Mia clenched her fists, fighting back tears. And instead you chose to hurt me. I know, he whispered, his voice cracking. I'm sorry. Doesn't he even begin to convey how much I regret it? I never wanted to hurt you. He reached out again, but this time she didn't pull away. She allowed her fingers to touch his lightly, as if testing the waters of forgiveness. For the second time that night, silence descended upon them, thick with emotions that needed time to settle. Mia felt the warmth of his hand spill over into her own, but it didn't erase the cold truth of his betrayal. Why don't we take a step back? She suggested, her voice steadier than before. I need space to think, to decide what I really want. He nodded, understanding etched across his face. I'll give you all the time you need. There was pain in his eyes as he spoke, and in that moment, for the first time, she saw the shame mirrored in her reflection. Even though the thought of distance felt like being swallowed whole by the dark, there was also a glimmer of hope. Space might be what they needed to forge a new path or simply gain clarity on whether they could heal. I want to believe you, Jake. I really do, but right now I don't know if I can. Then let us take this one day at a time, Jake said with a soft determination that stirred something cautious inside her. As they broke apart, Mia felt the weight on her heart slightly ease. The rain continued to patter against the roof, marking time as they both sat in the stillness that followed the storm of words. Was there a way to navigate through this chaos together? Mia stared into the murky shadow that filled their space, each flicker of lightning illuminating possibilities that felt both terrifying and necessary. Would she find the strength within herself to face the storm of their lives? Or would their story disintegrate into echoes of what could have been? With each heartbeat, the question lingered in the air, as heavy as the rain pummeling the windows. What came next in their fragile tale was the real challenge. Would she seize the chance to rebuild or step away forever? Mia sat at the table, the remnants of their cookie-decorating chaos strewn around her. Candies scattered next to smeared frosting like a sweet battleground of a joyful time. Yet, beneath the sugary surface, anxiety coiled tightly within her as uncertainty lingered like storm clouds. Mom, can we do something fun now? Jake's eagerness burst through the tension, his voice filled with the innocence that only children exude. Mia looked at him, his eyes sparkling with the fresh innocence of their impromptu celebration. She needed to focus on this moment, the joy radiating from each boy, the warmth of their laughter that contrasted against the storm's fury outside. Yes. How about a movie? She suggested, glancing toward the flickering lights of the television in the other room, eager to shift the mood. Can we watch something exciting? Like superheroes? Dom chimed in, eyes wide with enthusiasm. That sounds perfect. Mia agreed, allowing herself to be swept up in their cheers. As they settled on the couch, a tension still wove through the air, but a different kind now. The storm outside roared in a distant background, yet within the walls of their home, warmth found a way to wrap around them. Once the movie began, flickering shadows danced on the walls, mirroring the action on screen. Laughter erupted with each superhero victory, a cacophony of joy that started to chip away at the aching thoughts in Mia's heart. But just as she allowed herself to relax, glancing at Bob, whose pride filled every curve of his smile, the door creaked slightly again, sending a shiver down her spine. Mia? Bob's voice broke through the laughter, cutting into the moment. He looked grave. Could you come here for a second? Mia's heart skipped. A shadow passed through her quickly. Is everything okay? Just a moment, please, he said again, and she felt the gravity of his tone. As she rose, the boys barely noticed her concern, their eyes glued to the screen where heroes triumphed over evil. She slipped into the quiet hallway, the gentle hum of the TV fading behind her. Bob, she asked softly as she approached him. We need to talk about what we've been facing, Mia. His voice was firm yet concerned. What is it? Is it about Jake? She whispered, fear creeping back in. No, it's not just about Jake. It's about us, our family, and how we've been navigating through all this storm. Concern folded into Bob's brow as he gestured toward the window, where the storm poured relentlessly outside. I know you felt out of place, but we've all faced struggles in our own way, and we can't let misunderstandings pull us apart. She could see the truth in his eyes. I've been scared, Bob. I felt like I didn't belong here, but I don't want to keep the boys from what they love. I want to make it work, he nodded, understanding surging between them like a current. You are a part of this family. We've woven our lives together, And each thread has value. Remember that ornament you hung up? Each one tells a story, right? Yours matters just as much as anyone else. Mia felt tears welling up. His unwavering support enveloped her. It felt like a lighthouse amid her dark emotions. I want to create new memories, Bob, I just don't know how. Together. We do it together, he replied gently. Let us weave your stories into our traditions. She nodded, her heart swelling with gratitude and determination. As they re-entered the living room, she felt more grounded. The laughter of her sons was infectious, a beacon of hope shining in the dim light. She sat back down beside them, a wave of newfound energy flowing through her. Can we all guess our favorite superheroes? Dom asked, grinning from ear to ear. Let us do it. Mia responded with newfound vigor. For every guess, they laughed a little harder, telling each other what made those heroes special. Through their warmth, the winds outside howled less ominously, and slowly, the shadows creeping in her mind started to fade. It was merely the beginning, but that first step felt monumental. As Jake leaned against her, his head resting on her shoulder, she felt a gentle quiet settle in her heart. The chaos was still outside. The storm raged on, but with each moment spent with her family, she realized she was home. Later that night, as hot chocolate steamed in their mugs, Mia caught the glimmer of understanding in Bob's eyes, and the boys' laughter resonating within the walls. Here and now, they discussed their plans for Christmas traditions, the cookies they promised to bake together, the stories they would share. Can we make a Christmas cookie monster every year? Jake asked excitedly. A warm smile curled across Mia's lips. Absolutely. And this time I'll bring my special recipe. In that moment, she knew every laugh, every shared experience would bind them tighter. They would face storms together, but they wouldn't let fear keep them apart. The night wrapped around them like a cozy blanket, the storm just a whisper in the backdrop, a reminder of both chaos and connection. As they settled into the warmth of each other's laughter, Mia understood the deeper truth. Love wasn't just about the calm. It was also about weathering storms together. And as she looked around her, a new strength flickered in her heart, illuminating the darkness that once felt like home. Together they would face it all. Don't just sit back and enjoy. This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now to our channel to witness more transforming stories like this. Leave a like right now to fuel the algorithm and help spread this story. Comment below to share your thoughts and feelings about the ending. It truly helps us connect. And don't hesitate. Share this video immediately with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let's uplift our community together. Don't wait not even one more second.